This is Alex Hayden here in Texas to see who will be celebrating with a cowboy hat in Victory Lane. This is the first of 3 races for this round of the playoffs as we go from 12 to 8. Every point matters, and a mistake here can effectively end your season. Win and you're through. If not, you've got a lot of math and work to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of NASCAR 22 on the channel. As you see behind me, that there is well, not behind like me, but over here on the screen, we have a caution during the national anthem. Chalk it up as number 8 that we have had this year. So, we're going to back out of this. Oh, not that far. Pause it. And we're going to restart. We're going to try this again. Crazy stuff. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's race, and we will be racing at the Texas Motor Speedway. As you see on the top of the screen right now, the point standings coming into the round of 12 opener today, and over the next 3 days, we will run each and every race of the round of 12, which will set up the lineup for the following round next week in the round of 8 when I get back from Texas this weekend. So this is going to be an interesting race. We have no clue how this track runs on this game, or at least I don't have any clue how this track runs on this game. I've not raced at Texas yet on NASCAR 22. We have not raced at the Roval yet on NASCAR 22, but we do know that there is a glitch on road courses where if you pit under green flag conditions that your rear tires are basically burned off the car. We had that issue at every road course except for Watkins Glen so far. And there has not been any patch update or anything of that nature, both before the Watkins Glen race and since for this game specifically on the NASCAR 22 season update side of things. So, with that being said, today is a big race because Talladega is the middle race. That could really go either way. We could run really well, we could run really bad. If we don't have a good performance today, we could bank on more than likely not having a good finish at the Roval. Talladega, we do not want to have to put everything in. Now, the good news is our driver, Kevin Harvick, comes in 78 points above the cutoff line. Got 7 extra playoff points in the last race we just ran at Bristol, which took place last Wednesday. We ended up winning the race and winning both stages, so 7 playoff points there. We're going to try to go for as many more as we can today. 500 miles, 334 laps will be the scheduled distance for today's race. Patrick Shadley, Billy Kramer, GC1424, Landon, Joshua Rumsey, and others, welcome into the stream. We will take a look at the starting lineup for today's race. Kyle Busch will be on the pole. He advanced to this round by just 5 points. In fact, he was the last driver to advance on points following Bristol last week. So we'll see how we'll kick off this round today. William Byron will start outside of the front row. He is also in the round of 12. Kurt Busch and Martin Truex Jr. will line up in row number 2. Truex has advanced into this round. Kurt Busch, remember, missed the entire 16-man playoff field. Eric Almirola and Chase Briscoe will line up in row 3. Briscoe did not qualify for the original playoff field. Eric Almirola did, and Almirola is also inside the round of 12. He went into the last race 2 points above the cutoff line, ended up scoring quite a few points to advance even further beyond that. Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, they will be in row number 4. Both of those drivers were eliminated in the round of 16 of the playoffs. So yes, defending champion Kyle Larson was eliminated, as well as Blaney, both by 5 points. They were the 2 closest drivers behind Busch, who had that last spot. And then Ross Chastain and Joey Logano will round out the top 10 in row number 5 today. Both drivers still racing for a championship. As far as the other playoff drivers who start outside of the top 10 today, we have Austin Cindric. He is starting in the 13th place position. Tyler Reddick. I gotta look here. It's been a week. I haven't looked at the playoff standings since then. Reddick is below the cutoff line by 7 points. He starts just outside the top 10 in 12th. Chase Elliott starts 15th. Christopher Bell starts 16th. He won a race in the last round. Actually, a first and second place finish in the first 2 races of the last round. Bubba Wallace starts in 20th. Alex Bowman was eliminated last round. And then our driver, Kevin Harvick, qualified in 34th, which is by far and away the worst of the 12 playoff drivers. So, expert difficulty is on today. We do have limited stability help on because I'm not sure. I didn't want to risk running no stability help in the playoffs, honestly. I did at Darlington. I ran no stability help there. I'm trying to think. I think that's probably the only track of the 3 we've ran so far I've done no stability help on this game. That didn't work out for me, so I don't want to risk that again because I feel like we are likely to make contact on the ovals on this game. So let's get this race underway. Kyle Busch about to lead us to the green. Got 16 people watching already. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Let's get into this race here tonight. 105 laps in stage 1. Got to get going from the get-go. Win will advance yourself into the round of 8 if you're any of the 12 playoff drivers. The green flag is in the air and we're underway at Texas.
Got one left.
Right off the start, Harvick trying to get down to the bottom lane. A lot of cars funneling towards the outside off the exit of turn 2. 3 wide in some cases. Cars scattering all over the place now. Harvick trying to find himself in line into turn 3. Did not practice, so I'm not sure how this car is going to handle in clean air. It'll likely be tight if I had to guess, and only get tighter and tighter and tighter as the run progresses forward. With the stability help, so definitely going to likely make some adjustment changes early. Going to downshift in turns 1 and 2, at least in the early going, see how that goes while we're in traffic. I don't plan on shifting at all in turns 3 and 4. Corner's a little bit more banked. Harvick making a pass on Harrison Burton for position at least. And has already picked up a couple positions from the start. 4 spots to be exact, and it's on the inside of Austin Dillon. A little contact up in front of the 3 and the 4 in the middle of the front stretch. Down into turn 1. Harvick charges the corner. Custer had to hop out of the throttle with the 7 of Corey LaJoie moving underneath him. Allows Kevin Harvick to get by his teammate up to 27. Really driving it into the corner fine. It's the middle of the corner where it really wants to push tight at times. Harvick trying to stay underneath the 7 of LaJoie. Couldn't quite side draft him on that left rear corner panel. Down into turn 1 they go. Driver's lifting very early into turn 1. That's where Harvick's really able to take advantage of this. On the inside of the 38 car now, Todd Gilliland. Major stack up going on right now into turns 3 and 4. Alex Bowman on the outside. Right in front of Bubba Wallace. Harvick's passed his first playoff car in the round of 12, which was Wallace off turn 4 that time. But Harvick is moving forward, which I'm quite surprised. Able to do that in the early going. Overdrives the corner quite a bit. Thought for a second he was going to make contact with Michael McDowell. That was not the case, but he did get really tight. He still passes Stenhouse, though. Stenhouse trying to block on the back straightaway as well. Santiago Kid, thanks for tuning in also. We have 42 likes on yesterday's stream. Let's see if we can get more than that today. I do think downshifting is helping quite a bit, though, in turns 1 and 2. Definitely feels like it stabilizes the car, and the car handled a lot better in 1 and 2 that time than any other lap up to this point. I think that was because he was far enough behind the cars in front of us. There was no dirty air effect. It's in turns 3 and 4 right there. The car got a little bit tighter as he got closer to the 17 of Chris Buescher. Charges underneath him now. Into turns 1 and 2. Harvick down on the bottom. 20 of Bell going up wide, almost into the wall off the exit of the corner. Harvick clears Michael McDowell, hops in line right behind Eric Jones.
3 wide, 2 outside. Stay left, all clear. 3 wide, kept 2 up top.
Definitely a good start for Kevin Harvick, though. He is moving forward.
Clear all around. Stay left.
Big thing is trying to figure out if that long run speed is actually going to be available. Thanks for the $1 super chat, by the way, JC. Touch that white line a little bit.
All clear.
Felt the car instantly shift up the racetrack. Luckily, Harvick was clear of Tyler Reddick and will still slide in front of him off the exit of turn 2. But just kind of picking him up and putting him down. Early going to this race, Kevin Harvick didn't qualify particularly well, but he is moving forward. Trying to get this win so he doesn't have to worry about Talladega or the Roval over the next couple nights. Walking Reddick on the front stretch. Down towards turns 1 and 2. Bell started to go low. Harvick gave him enough room down on the inside. Definitely being aggressive on diving it off into the corner, but you got to be cautiously aggressive, if that is a thing. And that is why right there is Tyler Reddick dive bombs into turns 3 and 4 to get underneath the Kevin Harvick. Pass is made for 16th. Harvick immediately was out of the gas, trying to make sure the 8 wasn't going to completely slam into his door. They're taking the 4 cars line away. Yeah, it is weird. I have noticed that because when I first started racing the road courses on this game, I ended up running automatic transmission just because I didn't think I was used to the 5th gear at first. So the first couple races I did that, but then like middle of the race I found myself shifting, and I was like, wait a minute, how am I able to shift still? So my shifting points are a lot different than the automatic shifting points, I noticed, so I feel like you can run a faster line with that. I just find it odd though how you have automatic shifting on and you can still shift whenever you want still. Reddick again trying to cross Kevin Harvick over. Harvick downshifted that time into turns 3 and 4, and I think that hurt him a little bit. Reddick able to make the pass. Harvick seems to be a little bit better at 1 and 2 on the flatter area of the racetrack. Big dive bomb this time as he gets underneath the 20 of Bell and underneath the 22 of Joey Logano. Clears them both, and he's up to 15th. This car does not grip up well in turns 3 and 4. Gets to the bottom in the middle of the corner. There wasn't quite enough room for Logano to get underneath. Harvick is actually 14th rather than 15th and might have a shot at 13th under Denny Hamlin.
Clear all around. Clear all around.
I definitely didn't drive this aggressive of a line with how deep I'm driving it on corner entry. In qualifying, I only had 1 lap in qualifying too, so I think that is definitely helping out in the race. Probably why I'm running a little bit quicker of a pace.
Got 1 left.
AJ going to the bottom, Harvick to the outside. Allmendinger trying to squeeze the 4 car now, and down into turns 1 and 2 they go. Harvick is going to clear the 16 of AJ Allmendinger. Continuously pressing forward. This continues to go on throughout the course of the run. If you're Kevin Harvick, I think you have to almost consider
Clear.
not short pitting like we usually do on the intermediate tracks. Because this 4 car's got some speed, and he's up to 11th. Multi-time Texas winner is Kevin Harvick, both with SHR and Richard Childress Racing had received wins. Old contact there with Kyle Larson in the 5. Luckily, there was no severe damage on the front of the 4 after that contact because he hit it pretty square. Now getting by Daniel Suarez for position. Harvick up near the wall, lips off the exit of the corner. Still got into the wall, but Suarez couldn't make the pass, and now Larson's going after the 99 into turns 1 and 2 for position instead. Not sure if we're going to have to pit once or twice in this stage. Again, the fuel window in this game is a lot shorter than what it is in real life. So we're going to have to go at least 53 laps to be able to make it on just 1 stop in the stage. Harvick gets by William Byron for position. Is driving in the 8th place position. NASCAR HMS fan, thanks for tuning in also. Harvick trying to get to the inside of Chase Elliott. He's there.
Car right.
Getting a little tight though. Drops in line right behind him. Ellie got a big run on that outside lane off the exit of turn 4. Look at him close on the 19 of Truex, but doesn't make a move to the bottom, so Harvick will. Gets by the 9. Gonna try to slide up in front of the 19 and does. And I think Truex might have lifted to let the 4 in. Ellie gonna maybe take another move down to the bottom. Harvick going for 5th on Kurt Busch. Mark DeMars, Wade, thanks for tuning in. Harvick really tight at this end of the racetrack, though. Progressively getting worse in turns 3 and 4, but in turns 1 and 2, it's almost like he's getting better and better. Which is weird, because I noticed that the flat tracks on this game, when you have stability help, the car's not as tight as what it is when you have a banked racetrack. And I almost wonder if it being flatter at turns 1 and 2 is the reason why I'm able to grip up pretty well down there. But in turns 3 and 4, I can't grip up well at all. Because you would think with not downshifting in turns 3 and 4 that overall my RPMs are slower in that end of the racetrack. Therefore, there's not as much speed in the very middle of the corner entry. There's not as much speed either as what there is down in turn 1, because you're coming off a flatter corner going into a bank corner versus off of turn 4 into 1, plus the front stretch is longer than the back stretch. But that's logic, and this game doesn't really have logic, so at the same time, I don't know. I don't want to overthink it too much, but just trying to think logically here. Left rear tire is burning off the 4 car a little bit.
All clear.
So he makes the pass on Ryan Blaney for 4th place. Ross Chastain leading in the early going over Kyle Busch and Eric Almirola. Top 4, all playoff drivers in the round of 12. 5th and 6th are not. 7th and 8th of Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott are. Another scrape into the wall off turn 4 for Harvick. Very fortunate not to blow tires. The second time he's gotten into the wall in the early going. Still had enough to get to the inside of the 10 of Eric Almirola. And he is going to be able to clear him off the exit of turn 2 for 3rd. Harvick seems to have race-winning speed in the early going. But is really struggling in turns 3 and 4 right now. And having to play defense on Almirola. Big block in the middle of the front stretch. Chastain pulling away from Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick about 2.5 seconds off the race lead. Everybody trying to stretch this out to just one stop in this stage. If it's going to be anything like the Kansas race, which that was a 400-mile race, though, but on a mile and a half, there were a lot of different pit strategies from a lot of different drivers in that one. So many of so that I couldn't really keep up with it. Allowed for Martin Truex Jr. to get a fuel mileage win. Walk his way into this round without having to deal with Bristol, which is one of his worst tracks. Harvick on the inside of Kyle Busch. Could not clear him off the exit of turn 2, so we'll be side by side into 3. Harvick on the bottom, Busch on the outside. Harvick is going to be clear. Downshifted that time going into the corner. Holds the middle line all the way through. Busch on the outside. And not as big of a run as we saw for Chase Elliott on the outside lane in turns 3 and 4 earlier. So Kyle Busch back to 3rd. Kevin Harvick, who is the points leader, up to 2nd. Coming off his 10th win of the season, trying to go back-to-back for the 3rd different time this year. Texas, yes we are. Tuning in also, Dark Crypto. Are way up the racetrack this time in 3 and 4. Harvick losing time to Ross Chastain there. And Kyle Busch trying to reel him back in again. Wonder after how many laps this car's going to clip, just because we do see that on 1.5 miles. Even though this is a much different 1.5 miles for a lot of different reasons compared to others. But we're still going to see that. Harvick has gotten his way up to 2nd. NASCAR F1 creator. Thanks for tuning in. It's just not turning anymore. Chastain is definitely pulling away. Harvick's still maintaining a decent gap over Kyle Busch, though. I think Chastain's just that much faster than everybody else. Kind of similar to Chase Elliott at Kansas, only he couldn't manage the fuel well enough, so I wonder if that may happen to Chastain here in Stage 1, and maybe he'll have to pit twice. Everybody else can make it on one stop. Got to get to about lap 53 if we're going to want a shot to make this on just one stop in Stage 1. Better through 3 and 4 that time for Harvick. Pulls Kyle Busch just a little bit more. You definitely feel that the closer I am to the bottom of the racetrack in the center of the corner, the more grip I have to actually keep the car on the bottom. But if I can't get it to rotate on entry and I'm kind of stuck in the middle, I feel like I'm more tight in the center of the corner, especially in 3 and 4. Because these last 2 times through 3 and 4 were not bad at all. Same thing goes for turns 1 and 2. Just being a little bit more patient on the throttle. Not getting back in it quite as soon. Harvick is maybe starting to reel Ross Chastain in just a little bit more again. Chastain started pulling away there for just a quick bit. So much tire fall off at every track in this game. Like, Texas is a track where there isn't really a lot of like tire fall off over the course of a run. But if you look at the lap times, our best lap is a 30.056 in traffic at the very beginning of the race. And now with clean air and only 32 laps on our tires, our best lap, or most recent lap, is a 32.270. So there's just a ton of tire fall off at every track in this game. I've noticed that even with super speedways, like, you cannot pit fuel only on super speedways unless you have some sort of stability help on. Because if you go back out there on old tires, you just feel like you're going to spin out every corner. And that's what happened to us the last time we were at Talladega, in fact. So I know not to do that again when we go to Talladega tomorrow night. Because we will not have stability help on for that race. It's just too tough on the super speedways on this game because you're having to lift to make the corner. So if you're leading, I mean, you're just a sitting duck at that point. With no rear view mirror, too, if you're lifting while you're leading. Good luck. Harvick definitely pulling away from Kyle Busch. He's almost 2 seconds ahead of him. But he's still 3 seconds behind Ross Chastain. Now, I do see a couple lap cars just a few seconds ahead of the one of Chastain. It'll be interesting to see how he ends up trying to get through lap traffic. Because if he struggles trying to pass lap cars, that could open up the door for Kevin Harvick to try to close. We're going to take a round of wedge out of the race car this very first pit stop. Really hoping that's not going to be too much, but that will be the plan. About 15 laps away from green flag pit stops. so hard to tell if Harvick's actually closing on Chastain. I think they're just so even with each other. I think Harvick probably gets some of that time back in 1 and 2, but then loses it in 3 and 4. It does seem like the one car has gapped him. I think we were 2 seconds off the lead when we first got around Kyle Busch, and now it's 3 seconds to just over 3 seconds off the lead. Last lap is a 30.981 here. If it is at this track, you definitely want to try shifting on this game. Specifically in turns 1 and 2.
I'm ready. Hit pit road in a few laps.
Starting to do it a little bit more in turns 3 and 4. Does seem like Harvick's slowly starting to reel in Chastain. Chastain is stuck behind the last place car of Josh Bilicki. Harvick 3.5 seconds ahead of Kyle Busch right now. Hooked up pretty well at the bottom that time through 3 and 4.
Only a few laps till we pit.
Chastain obviously much quicker. Took a peek to the inside down towards turn 1 that time on Bilicki. And I don't think he was able to make the pass yet. He'll pull out a line on the back straightaway again as well. Deep dive on the bottom lane going into 3 and 4. And now Chastain is looking as if he is going to be able to make that pass. But Kevin Harvick is slowly closing in on him. So now that Chastain's in lap traffic, this could be an opportunity for Kevin Harvick to really close that gap. Gonna have to hope we have a fast pit stop too. Because when we get later into the back half of the next run, probably gonna have less and less of an opportunity to catch Chastain to get the win in the stage. Playoff point is awarded at the end of the stage. That carries over through the next round for everybody that's going to advance to the round of 8. Chastain trying to get by that second lap car now. Kaz Grala unable to really do so that time through turns 1 and 2. And really the last lap and a half to 2 laps, he's been stuck behind him after passing the 77. About 2 seconds behind Chastain. Chastain just passed Grala. But this was the gap between the 1 and the 4 once the 4 originally got to second, so he's got that gap back down. Chastain way up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, almost into the outside wall, off the exit of the corner. Probably got tight in the dirty air behind the next lap car he's trying to pass right now, and he'll get around him. It's Garrett Smithley in the 15, but now Harvick is about to catch lap cars. So we'll see if the 4 is going to be able to pass him much quicker than the 1. Lap 45 at the line. Gotta milk this fuel run out as far as we can. Harvick hasn't been in dirty air in a while, so it's going to be interesting how tight this car is really going to get all of a sudden now. As he closes on the 77 car. Pulls to the bottom lane. Makes a nice little pass. First chance he got on Josh Bilicki.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left. We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Hoping that bottom stays open enough to get the turn in the car. There we go. And Chastain goes up the hill a little bit, off turn 2 again. Harvick with a big run off turn 2 on Grala. Should have a good opportunity to pass him into turns 3 and 4, and does.
Clear all around.
This car did not grip up at all there. Chastain's pitting early. So Ross Chastain is going to pit road now. Kevin Harvick will lead his first lap of the race. That's interesting. Harvick's going to try to milk this out so he can make it a one stop versus 2. I don't know that he's going to make it. It's going to be tough. Almirola is up to second. I think Kyle Busch pitted that last time by as well. See, we could get a caution too. That's another reason why I really don't want to pit. Because if we're in the lead and a caution comes out, then we're definitely not going to get caught a lap down. But we could be in second and far enough behind the leader, a caution comes out, we get trapped a lap down. Chastain back to 39th, obviously the fastest car in the field today. Already barely kept it off the wall that time, off turn 4.
All right, bring it to us this time. Bring it to us this time.
Deep dive for Chastain, or for Harvick rather, down to the bottom underneath the 15 of Garrett Smithley. Not going to be able to make a pass. He'll stay alongside him. That fuel tank's going very, very low right now for Kevin Harvick.
Stay left.
And he's going to pit this time.
Clear, clear.
A few other cars coming in also. 45 miles per hour will be the pit road speed limit. He is at the commitment line in time.
Leaders are pitting now.
So 4 tires of fuel for Kevin Harvick. They're going to take a round of wedge out of the race car. It's going to be kind of tough because Harvick stayed out of the pits about 4 laps longer than Chastain, so he's probably going to lose quite a bit of time. He was just under 2 seconds off the lead when Chastain pitted at lap 45. VG Clipstick tuning in also. I was trying to look at the chat what I could there. I just wrecked Garrett Smithley in his pit box. Kind of rare that you turn a car while they're stopped on pit road. And it didn't give us any major damage, so that's good, I guess. Alright, so we're going to probably lose some positions here with the cars that pitted before us. For that round of wedge coming out of the race car is going to help. No traffic around Harvick. He'll remain inside the top 10 though. He is in the 9th place position right now. Mostly everybody is already pitted. Everybody will have to pit one more time, more than likely, in this stage. Wasn't sure where Josh Bilicki was going there, inside or outside. Went high at the last second. Harvick had to move down underneath him. Flat, I enter the corner. It's just because I do brake on both ends of the track, and I feel like the quicker I could get to the bottom for whatever reason, the more it grips up. It's not the right way to run a line. I'd like to sweep the corner out as much as I can, but the stability help on, I just can't get the car to rotate that well in the middle of the corner, even if it's as I'm still trying to cut down on entry. I was just waiting for like 10 people in the chat to be like, why are you chopping the corners off so much? That's why. Only way I could get the car to turn. Oh, that was not good. That was a little too wide. Going to Martinsville in the spring. Awesome, man. Yeah, I definitely want to get back to Martinsville this year. Harvick's going to have to capitalize on passing cars and lap traffic.
All right. Clear all around.
Dives underneath Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney. That's 2 passes per position. Actually, Austin Dillon's a lap down. Ryan Blaney was on the lead lap, so there was a pass up to 8th. Bubba Wallace back to 30th right now, not having a great run. And I believe he is the lowest running of the 12 playoff drivers. Sit in the middle of the playoff field to start this round. Harvick could get by these 5 cars in front of him. He'll have a little bit of clean air. Busher with a block on Chase Elliott. Elliott down on the bottom of the track. Harvick trying to get there as well. Could be able to clear Bubba Wallace, but barely. There's a block to the outside on him. Trying to get underneath the 17 of Busher. Haley down to the bottom, trying to get by the 27 of Hesmans. Harvick still down on the inside. Gets by Elliott for position. Christopher Bell, Mark Truex Jr. Next couple cars per position just up ahead. By the way, my fastest lap of the race was on this run, so I do think the wedge adjustment helped. 29.823 is my fastest lap right now. This is my first lap in the open with clean air. I wonder if we could run anywhere close to that, if not a little bit better. Felt great on both ends of the track that time. Well, we jumped up 2/10 from the lap before. The tires fall off so much, though. You run like 5 laps, and you're not going to be able to run your fastest time after that, for the rest of the run at least. So it's a 2-stop stage for everybody, with them all pitting before lap 52 in the stage. I believe the last of the cars pitted at lap 51. Those were the cars that are likely a lap down right now. Harvick did lead for about 4 laps once Chastain pit earlier. Harvick making a quick pass on the 15 of Garrett Smithley through turns 1 and 2. He's about 1 second behind Mark Truex Jr., 2.5 seconds behind Christopher Bell. I think Joey Logano might be in front of him, which is not for position because Logano's in 26th on our leaderboard right now. He's got 2 other cars right in front of him as well, and pull more into the shade towards turns 1 and 2 also. I probably carried that corner a lot deeper on entry than what I have any other corner in this race today. Surprised that stuck as well as it did. He closed immensely on Mark Truex Jr. Chopped off that corner too much in the center. Get there, get there. Harvick reeling these guys back in, though. His car's definitely better than what it was before. I mean, he was about the 2nd fastest car on the track before anyway. Had to do something to try to get the Chastain on speed, so they made that early adjustment. I just don't know. Stayed out maybe a little bit too long. I didn't know he was going to pit as early as he did, but I probably should have pitted that next lap instead of staying out for 4 extra laps. Because Harvick cycled out of the pits in 9th. Going to try to get by Bell in 3 and 4 this time to get back into 5th. In the dirty air with Logano right there. Harvick sliding up. Has to give Bell room to make the corner. Side by side on the front stretch still for 5th. Down into turns 1 and 2 they go. Harvick on the inside. Got just underneath Joey Logano. Ty Dillon Larson up to 4th, just up ahead. I'm glad he's eliminated from the playoffs because I feel like he could have been a major championship threat.
Clear, clear, clear. Clear, clear, clear.
Really, both him and Blaney. 4 drivers eliminated in the last round were Larson, Blaney, Haley, and Bowman.
Stay left. Clear, clear.
Here come Rolla in 3rd. Kyle Busch is nowhere to be found right now. He is not the top 5, and he has not been passed by Harvick either. Busch lost a lot of time on pit road. Hopefully still in the race. I guess he could be in 2nd. Never mind, I'm stupid.
Clear, clear.
I forgot. I forgot how to count there for a second. I was thinking because Larson was in 3rd that if I was in 4th that if I passed him I was going to be in 3rd. That's what I was thinking in my head. That's why I said that. Harvick gets by Almirola in the middle of turns 1 and 2 there. That'll move him back into the 3rd place position. 3 lap cars are the next 3 vehicles in front of Harvick.
Clear, clear.
Harrison Burton cuts down, trying to get by the 62 of Gregson, who's already 2 laps down. Harrison Burton 1 lap down. Quite a few cars a lap down. We have not had a caution yet in this race. We are still caution-free through the first 68 laps at Texas.
Stay left. Clear,
And
clear.
yes, Busch is in 2nd. He pitted on the very same lap Ross Chastain pitted, so the reason why he is up where he is. So if they pit at lap 45, they're going to end up pitting around lap 90, so we got to be prepared for that. This time, maybe even pit a lap or 2 before them to try to get some extra time back on them. A lot of clean air in front of the 4 right now. This is going to help for a little bit. I mean, we're already only 20 laps away from pit stops, though. That's insane. I feel like the stage is flying by. I knew it was going to be a longer race, being 500 miles, but no caution so far. This race is just ticking by in a hurry. I will say, though, also after yesterday's race where I was running for almost 5 hours, then any race feels probably short. The very next race after that one, we raced at Old Spice Speedway. For anybody that doesn't know, you know what that track is. We raced that on NASCAR 06 yesterday. A 100% race on NASCAR 06 in the Cup Series at that road course is 500 miles on a road course. 333 laps, which is about the same distance, really, as this race. But this is on an oval. We're running lap times at fastest 29s versus yesterday at our very fastest. I think we were in the 43.5, I think was the fastest lap I ran at the very end. For the most part, we were in the 44, 45s. So you just imagine how long that would take. It took us 4 hours and 59 minutes to get that race done yesterday. We had 6 cautions, I believe, if I remember correctly, 6 yellows. Harvick definitely running down Kyle Busch. He's still about 4 seconds behind him. It does seem as if Kevin Harvick is passing lap cars a lot easier than his counterparts right now. Harvick pitted at lap 49. Probably could have won another lap or 2. I just didn't think I was going to make it to lap 53, so that's why I pitted when I did. I didn't want to give up any more time what I had already given up for 4 laps. We're running about 2 seconds a lap faster. A little over that. That far into the run. Wonder if Chastain's that car trying to make a pass on the other lapper up there. Looks like it may be. Kyle Busch has really ran Ross Chastain down in the lap traffic during this run. I think Chastain's only about a second ahead of Busch right now. Harvick is closing in. Got probably a little bit more grip. Not as tight at this point in the run as what he was in the last run before the wedge adjustment. He was able to actually get the car to turn enough right off the exit of the corner still while in the banking to get by Corey LaJoie there. Clears him into turns 3 and 4. About 3 lap cars and a lead lap car between himself and Chastain. And only 1 lap car between himself and Kyle Busch in second. Might have a shot at Busch for second place here in a few laps.
Got one right.
Trying to get by the 38 of Ty Gilliland right now. Should be able to move clear, and in fact, he might have a shot at Kyle Busch in turns 1 and 2 next lap. Ray calling that adjustment for Kevin Harvick. William Byron back in 19th. Not a good run for that playoff driver either. We've had a few playoff drivers already at least 1 lap down. A couple of them multiple laps down right now. Bubba Wallace, I believe, is 2 laps down. Harvick on the inside of Kyle Busch. Pass is made for second place. And is about 1.7 seconds behind Ross Chastain. Has to get by the lap cars of Cole Custer and William Byron. To the inside of Byron into turns 3 and 4. Custer on the same line as Harvick. Harvick can't get the car to turn right now. Has to stay in line behind the 24. Byron trying to block. Harvick down to the bottom. Heading into turn 1. Sends it in. It stays underneath the 41 of Custer. Harvick is on the move. No lap cars between the top 2 anymore. Timmy Hill is the car holding up Ross Chastain in the 1. You know, Chastain's probably got the quickest car in the field, but if Timmy Hill can hold him up for just a little bit longer, there's a good chance Kevin Harvick may be able to make a pass at Chastain for the race lead. Hopefully next time by. Harvick getting off of turn 2 very well, and he's got a run on the back straightaway. And he's going to go for the lead down into turns 3 and 4. Sends it into the corner. Gets to the inside of Timmy Hill. Slides up the track. How deep he drove it in, was expecting that. Clears Ross Chastain at least. Chastain trying to go for the crossover. He's blocked by Harvick. And for the second time tonight, Kevin Harvick leads at Texas, but now Timmy Hill holds the 4 up. And Harvick is stuck behind Hill. Harvick will get by Timmy Hill this time in turns 3 and 4, all clear. Chastain trying to get underneath the 66 on the front stretch right now. May have a look at him into turn 1. Now the big question is, if Chastain gets by Timmy Hill, will Harvick still be able to pull away, or are they going to be pretty equal with each other? But at least the 4 of Harvick has the track position and has clean air. Chastain going to pull out of line. Seems like he has made more of his passes in turns 3 and 4. And he will do just that. In turns 3 and 4, he gets by Timmy Hill. About 0.8 of a second off the lead from Kevin Harvick. And we're maybe 10 laps or less away from pit stops for the second time in Stage 1. And only 24 laps away from the end of Stage 1. Harvick's picker is going to have to be money. Harvick did not run very well that time through turns 1 and 2. Try not to be too worried about the 1 of Chastain. Close it in behind him. Chastain got through turns 3 and 4 better that time. Overall, a couple tenths quicker than Harvick that last lap. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in 17th is the last car in the lead lap. Harvick doesn't need to be faster than Chastain in this situation in turns 3 and 4. He just has to hold his own. He knows he can beat him on the other end of the racetrack. 20 to go, stage 1. Stenhouse is now up to 16th. I think we had a car in the lead lap pit already. Keep an eye on Chastain. He does not pit that time. Still about a 1.5 seconds difference. Kevin Harvick going to pit this time by. I just don't want the one to beat us into the pits because he'll end up cycling out ahead of us if that is the case, although Harvick did not rotate well getting into the corner that time, but he will be on his way to pit road. Has to make sure he does not speed and does not. And we do have a couple other cars on pit road right now. Ross Chastain stays out at least one more lap than Kevin Harvick, and Harvick will be the first of the leaders onto pit road. No adjustments this time. 4 tires and fuel. Second and final stop of the stage. And we'll see if Kevin Harvick can hold on to win stage number 1. We'll see where this cycles out. Christopher Bell's in the pits, and he is cycling out right behind Harvick, and he was not in the pits. Or I should say, he was in the pits, same lap as him. That's a little concerning. I don't think that was a very fast stop for the 4 team. Trying to get up to speed as quickly as he can down on the bottom of the racetrack. Gotta hope we stay green all the way to the end of the stage. How much time is Harvick going to make up on Ross Chastain? Not sure when exactly he's going to pit. Christopher Bell pitted the same lap as Harvick, and Harvick not that far ahead of Bell, which is concerning because Bell was about 5th place when Harvick pitted.
Car right. Clear, 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 clear. Car right. Clear, clear.
By everybody who has not pitted yet before the end of the stage. Watch some cars potentially pitting. I should not have done that. I went up the track on purpose just in case they were going to pit in front of me. It was a late decision to do that. That cost me a lot of time. I mean, hindsight's 20/20. They could have pit right there. I could have ran right in the back of Truex. I would have just held my line and ran the speed I was running. Side of the 22. I'm doing the same thing I did last lap. They're gonna pit any moment here. I didn't miss my marks as badly that time though. I'm rolling. Larson's still out on the racetrack right now. Kyle Busch is still out there also and in the lead. Or no, Busch is in 18th. So Busch cycled ahead of Kevin Harvick. Not sure if Chastain has pitted yet or not. Busch trying to get around the 21 of Harrison Burton. Finally does. Harvick on the inside lane. So Harvick did not have a very fast pit stop with his pit crew that last time. He has caught up to Kyle Busch, but Chastain's got to be out ahead of these guys, assuming the one is already pit. Busch getting held up. Tight squeeze that time. Harvick gets by Busch. That will eventually be 2nd place. Hopefully Chastain has not pitted yet.
Clear all around.
Side-by-side traffic right in front of Kevin Harvick. between Byron and Hill. None of those two pit. Chastain is on pit road right now. I just saw him hit pit road. So Chastain stayed out quite a ways longer than what he did last time. Him and Busch pitted the same lap. Lap 45 last time. Chastain pits at lap 92, so he went about 47 laps on this run. Just waiting on everybody else to pit at this point. Harvick should be the leader. There's Chastain just coming out of his box at the end of pit road. He's going to have a few lap fresher tires than Harvick, but he's nowhere close to up to speed yet as he's just getting out of the commitment line at the exit of pit road. So Kevin Harvick will be the leader when everything cycles through, but the real question is going to be, did Chastain run him down? And will we cycle through pit stops before a potential caution can come out ending the stage? Will be the next question.
Clear, clear, clear.
So glad BJ McLeod didn't try to pit on top of us all the time. Wasn't that Quinn Houff that tried to pit from like the middle lane at Texas? I think it was at Texas. I know it was Quinn Houff.
Car right. Clear, clear. Middle of 3.
Yeah, I don't like this. Up the middle, 3 wide. And one car almost missing pit road. Bowman nearly clips the left rear corner panel of Kevin Harvick. Harvick with a head of steam on the 3 cars who had to back up as the 16 almost missed pit road with that late entry. Couldn't tell if he even got down to the commitment line or not. Harvick is back to 5th. That was a gutsy move by Harvick. That last lap. 3 wide up the middle on some cars who hadn't pit yet.
All clear.
Harvick still in 5th. A couple other cars on pit road again. We're down to 10 laps to go in stage number 1. Harvick to 3rd now. Ryan Blaney is in 2nd. Not sure who the leader is. Both those cars are going to have to pit more than likely. Unless they pitted well before Harvick. Either way, Harvick would have fresher tires. Trying to run him down.
Car right. Clear, clear.
Blaney on pit road right now. Actually, he's out in the grass trying to swing into his pit box. Harvick to P2. Harvick to P1 at the start-finish line. So with 9 laps to go at stage number 1, it is Kevin Harvick who is back in the lead, cycling through green flag pit stops for the 2nd time in the first stage today at Texas. Trying to pick up his 19th stage win of the season. And another playoff point that will carry over into the next round if he does advance. Hopefully with a win today, he does for his sake. Tyler Reddick might be the last car on the lead lap right now in 10th.
All clear. Stay right.
Really hoping Kurt Busch was staying on the bottom there. He did. He's a couple laps down. Chase Elliott lap down as well coming out of the pits. So Harvick has lapped quite a few cars here with short pitting as well. Kyle Larson and Eric Almirola battling for 6th of the last couple cars on the lead lap. Make that 5th and 6th. A couple other cars on pit road, so Tyler Reddick at 7th is the first car lap down, trying to get by Harvick before the end of the stage. Oh, this could be massive to lap this many cars in stage 1. You know everybody's going to end up pitting twice in the next stage. I'd imagine most cars are going to stay out of the pits during the stage rig. Good chance we're going to stay out during the stage rig. Because it'll line you up at the tail end of the field, even though we only have 6 cars on the lead lap. I don't want to have to do that.
Stay right. All clear.
We wouldn't have that much fresher tires than everybody else either. Corey Freed, thanks for tuning in. 30 people watching right now, 19 likes. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We have 5 laps to go, stage 1, Texas Motor Speedway today. For the round of 12 opener on our NASCAR 22 season. Get this wrapped up before the start of the actual 2023 NASCAR season, so we can do one more of this style season. I want to do a custom schedule season on this game. Plan on starting that when the actual season starts here in a couple weeks. Driven the subway car yet? I don't have it on this game. Do I have to download a DLC or something? I have not. That's my favorite Harvick scheme from the last couple of seasons. With the next gen car, it's definitely my favorite. Actually, I had a diecast of it. It was his Bristol car, though. I think specifically the one I have from 2021. Yeah, I like the subway scheme. There's some lap traffic holding up Kyle Larson right now. 3 laps to go in the stage, though. I don't think Harvick's going to get to them in time, but if he does, to lap Larson and potentially Almirola before the end of the stage also, that'd be huge. Harvick. They have just 4 cars on the lead lap at the end of the stage. But he is going to end up locking the stage win up. There's nobody that's going to have a chance to catch him here in the closing laps. The DLC, I did not know of this. I need to download it. I will download it as soon as this race is over. And I will run that scheme the next couple races. So car's right on Kevin Harvick's coattail right now. Still about 3 seconds behind Kyle Larson. Austin Cindric back at 31st. Not good for him being a couple laps down right now. Chase Elliott has 3 lap cars between himself and Kevin Harvick. Be extremely difficult though for Harvick. To hold these guys off. It'd be a lot harder to hold Elliott off if Elliott was the only car behind Harvick, or even the closest car behind him. Having those few lap cars is probably going to keep him a lap down. Half a lap to go in stage 1 for the 4. BJ McLeod's going to get one of his laps back right at the end of the stage on the outside. That's it. Stage 1 in the books. Kevin Harvick will receive yet another playoff point as he will win. Saw one car spinning off turn 4 back there. Kevin Harvick will record his 19th stage win of the season. That is a playoff point. Again, that will carry over into the next round if he does advance, which would now give us 84 playoff points on the year total. Ross Chastain ends up 2nd, Kyle Busch 3rd, Christopher Bell 4th, Eric Almirola 5th, Kyle Larson 6th, Chase Elliott 7th, Tyler Reddick 8th, Ryan Blaney 9th, and Martin Truex Jr. rounds out the top 10. I think everybody that finished in the top 10 were playoff drivers except for Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson. They were eliminated, so technically not in this round. So 8 of the 10 spots in stage 1 for stage points received by playoff guys. The only non-playoff guys outside the top 10 were William Byron in 12th. Joey Logano in 19th, Bubba Wallace in 23rd, and then we saw Austin Cindric in 31st there towards the end, a couple laps down. And everybody in the top 6 on the lead lap, 7th on back with Elliott a lap down. That's tough to get back in this game with no free pass or wave around like in real life. So we'll see how this is going to go, but we will stay out of the pits during the stage break, and we'll get on with stage 2.
Watch the light. Pit road is closed. Yep, passing under yellow. Watch the light.
We're going to maintain track position now. Green flag going to be back in the air. Harvick restarting the lead. And he's got the other fast cars up here with him. It's going to be interesting. Door to door for the lead on the back straightaway right now between Ross Chastain and Kevin Harvick. Harvick down in the bottom lane with Chastain up high. And Ross Chastain is going to be easily clear off turn 4 for the race lead to lead the opening lap of stage 2. Stage 2 also 105 laps like stage 1. Again, everybody will have to pit twice. Remember, Chastain pitted well after the 4 and the 18 even. No surprise here that Ross Chastain is going to be off to a hot start in this stage. He probably had the best long run car as well in that first stage. Harvick trying to keep pace with him, and I don't think he's going to have anything for him. Almirola, one of the last cars to pit as well right for the end of the stage, so him being in 3rd right now. Might have a good shot to get by his teammate at some point in time here for second. Lap 211, the lights. This isn't even a night race. Like, why is that a thing? Almirola to second. Does he have anything for Ross Chastain in the early going of stage 2? That will be interesting. Harvick 2 seconds ahead of Christopher Bell. Him and Bell pitted on the same lap, and I think Bell's holding up Larson. Harvick really tight. 3 and 4 this time. I'm surprised I kept it off the wall, to be completely honest. Still pretty even with Bell through that corner, though. Yeah, it shows when we do hit our marks that we're still faster than the 20 on equal tires. And we have the second fastest car in the field on equal tires. Ross Chastain's the only guy quicker, but he was caught in lap traffic, so we were able to catch him before we hit the second stop in stage 1. Definitely helped us. But again, this is going to be a 2-stop final stage, so we're going to have to make sure we play this out right. And no cautions for incident in stage 1, so that stage break was the first caution of the day. Over 100 laps in. I don't think we've ever gone caution-free on an oval in this game, so maybe today could be the day. Throwback hack. Yeah, I will definitely look into that as soon as I get done with this stream, because if I wait till tomorrow, for one, it probably won't download in time by the time I get off of work, and then for two, I'll probably forget. Harvick pitted at about lap 86, which means that technicality he's already ran about 31 laps on these tires and on the fuel gauge, so knowing we can only go about 50, give or take maybe a few laps. 49 at least, because that's how far we went the first one, so we're going to have to pit probably within the next 15 laps or so. Almirola's still slowly running down Ross Chastain. He's not that much quicker than him, so I don't know if he's going to have enough speed to pass him when he gets to him, but it'll be interesting. Especially how the pit stops will play out, exactly when everybody will pit. Again, it'll be a 2-stopper for everybody in this stage, even for Harvick, who pitted. Harvick and Bell, in fact, who both pitted as early as they did in the second stop at stage 2. I was like one of the last cars to pit the first time, and then one of the first cars to pit the second time, and it worked out. I mean, we won the stage. Just made it a lot shorter on us in the middle, which I think is what really helped us. So that means that light glitch is going to happen in this stage then. If we're, or no, it would be the opening lap. If we have the lights glitch at lap 211, it's going to be the first lap of the next stage, which is going to be painful considering we're going to be on a restart. There's Larson. Harvick up into him. Contact. Larson into the wall. Harvick was getting tight right at the wrong time, as Larson had a massive run under the outside of the 4. I think they need the lights on at turns 1 and 2 with how shaded it is in that area of the track. Like the hotel or the suites or whatever those are over there. It's so dark. I think what this game did is I think it swaps the spring and the fall dates around with day and night transitions. Because with Las Vegas, that was supposed to be... The spring race supposed to be the day race, and the night race supposed to be in the fall. Well, I guess technically they're both day races now. So that doesn't make any sense, actually. Now that I think about it. But I guess in 2021, which is when this game actually took place. If we go off the 2021 season, the fall race at Las Vegas is at night. It had been a couple years prior to that, too. The spring races of the day, and I think it alternated it. And that would make sense because Texas, the All-Star race is at night in the spring, but then the fall race is in the daytime. And this is the only Texas race you can run on this game is the fall playoff race. You can't run the All-Star race on this game. So I think it swapped that out for day to night transitioning. I think it starts everything like when the Open is. And then we're just slowly transitioning towards the night as we get longer into this race, because obviously it's a lot longer than the All-Star race. That's my best guess as why that is the case. Taking an educated stab at it. Harvick remains in 4th. Again, just 6 cars on the lead lap to start this stage after Harvick won stage 1. Lap 25, probably looking at hitting pit road. We're going to run it out until then. So Harvick will pit at lap 25. Oh man, Justin Haley just turned himself. We're going to get a caution likely. And luckily we crossed the start-finish line in time before the yellow came out. Well, he just turned himself right off of turn 4 as he cut down a little early on Harvick. He did not have him clear. I mean, I held my line. I did not move up. Yeah, that was pretty blatant. He definitely moved down. I'm glad we passed the start-finish line before the caution came out. That is going to trap Larson a lap down and then Bell in 6th. So Bell and Larson going to be a lap down. Then everybody else who was already a lap down is going to be 2 laps down now. Which I guess will secure us a good points day, but stinks that had to happen. It's our first caution of the race. We were involved. We cannot pit for fuel or tires here, unfortunately. There to repair damage. Not going to lose a lap. We at the tail end of the field there being involved in the accident. That's our rules on this game, even though that wasn't my fault. Justin Haley spun off turn 4. Pretty much midway down the front stretch. Turned himself off Kevin Harvick's front bumper. And we're now on the restart to begin. Re-begin, I guess. The middle portion of stage 2. Back in traffic. He will be pitting here in a handful of laps anyway, but just trying to dodge everybody, not get involved in another wreck if at all possible. Squeezed by the 15 there. Smithley up the track goes Harvick, trying to cycle back in the line. A couple cars clipping the grass. And both kinks on the front stretch. Harvick with a head of steam, found a hole down on the bottom, was able to get there. The car shifting up towards the outside of the racetrack. 3 wide still up the exit of turn 2.
Car right, 3 wide, 2 outside. Clear, 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 clear. Only a few laps till we finish.
Top 3 have to be pulling away from the rest of the field right now, just like they were at the beginning of the stage before the caution. Harvick definitely lost some extra track position with that, so that's not good for the yellow to come out for that reason, even though it trapped the 5th and 6th place cars a lap down behind him. All of a sudden, just a 4-car race. With contact there with Willie B. Getting into turn 3, about turned him.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps. We'll be pitting in about 5 laps. Car right.
They just check up so much going into turn 1 when they're in a pack like this. Now we made so many passes so quickly at the initial start of the race, and same reason even on older tires right now to start this stage. Harvick into the wall off turn 4. That killed his momentum. Probably should have downshifted after I hit the wall. Third hit into the wall today, all 3 times, right off the exit of turn 2. Kevin Harvick will pit this time. We are at lap 25 in the stage. This was his expected pitting lap. He is in. 4 tires and fuel. No adjustments on the 4 car right now. Gotta hope we stay green long enough here. Don't get a caution in the middle of this green flag run. At least until everybody pits. Alrighty. Hopefully Harvick can get out with the lead, and a decent lead at that. Still gonna have to pit one more time in the stage. Everybody else is gonna have to pit twice yet. He will hit the commitment line, and he will be on his way up to speed. Should be able to get up to speed before the leaders come back around to lap him again. Kyle Larson up to second on the restart. Rule is still in third, and Chastain still the leader. I like how there's smoke coming out from the tailpipe. I don't like that. I don't like the visual of it. Why is that? Like my engine just blows up all of a sudden. And the RPMs are down. Oil temp at 268. What was it at before? I just saw Martin Church Jr. on pit road. Oh, smoke went away. We're good. We're good. Abortion the 18. Harvick really didn't pit that far before some of these guys. Just hoping he could cycle to the race lead and hold on to it for a decent amount of time. We know Kevin Harvick is going to have to pit again before the end of the stage. Starting to catch up to the back of the field as well. Watch out for Alex Bowman coming out of the pits in the 48 car. Harvick quickly down to the bottom. Very low entry into turns 3 and 4 that time. Problem with catching the back of the field right now is we're just getting into pit stops. We're just going to have to keep a close eye on cars trying to dive onto pit road late off turn 4. Blocked there by Allmendinger, rather, that almost turned himself, similar to his teammate Justin Haley, turned himself off of Kevin Harvick's race car earlier. Remember, Haley no longer in the playoffs, so still finished as high as 5th in points. He's not having a good run before that. Spin definitely didn't help him. Trapped him an extra lap down compared to what he already was at one point in that stage. At the end of stage 1. Harvick is up to 4th. I think the car he has passed would have been Bell. So none of the top 3 who were still on the lead lap other than Harvick have pitted yet. Even Stevens. That Joshua Rumsey in the chat. I don't know who Even Stevens is. Somehow they're a mod though. Appreciate you tuning in. Somebody's changed their channel name.
All around.
Harvick's almost made up his entire lap on the top three of Chastain, Larson, and Almirola, who still have not pit. He can get back on the lead lap before they pit. That'd be amazing. Just because he's going to put up a lot of time on these guys. They're going to end up trying to run him back down once they end up hitting themselves.
Got one right. Got one right.
Oh, it's R6. Got you.
Clear, clear.
There's... Oh, it's Evan Stevens, not even. Is it Evan or even? Because even Stevens is a, you know, just like a saint.
Stay left, clear, clear, clear.
Lingo. It's Evan Stevens. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I guess even is E-V-E. I don't know how to spell, sorry. I guess I don't. Just saw Chastain pit, by the way. That held up Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola for Harvick to get by. Chastain was already pretty much on pit road when Harvick got to him. Chastain still in his pit box as Harvick was passing him that time, headed towards turn 1. Larson and Almirola stay out at least one more lap again. Make it on field to the end of the stage. Try to get to at least 50 laps to go. It should be lap 55 for Harvick. Any lap beyond that, obviously a little bit better. It's less he'd have to go to the very end. He's going to be giving up a lot of time on older tires to the cars that are going to try to chase him back down once Larson and Almirola pit. He's already well cycled ahead of Chastain, who will try to catch up to the 4 as well. It is Evan. I was just stupid. I guess is one way to say it. Illiterate, I guess, is another way of putting it. Ain't this supposed to be a night race? Was it? I don't remember the Fall Texas race being a night race. I thought it was a day race. I mean, it was night in 2020, but that was because of all the rain and stuff. Push it to Wednesday.
We didn't come here today.
I don't remember this race being in the night. Harvick back to the lead into turn 1. Third different lead for Kevin Harvick today.
Got one right.
About 65 laps to go yet in stage number 2.
Car right.
Start to the back of the field here. A lot of lap cars still have to pit yet. Big dive bomb on Kyle Busch. We've had one caution per incident, 2 total if you count the stage break. Justin Haley spun off of turn 4,
One right.
bringing out our first caution of the race today.
All right.
For incident, right at the beginning of stage 2, got a couple cars pitting here on turn 4. Big head of steam for Kevin Harvick. He's on the brakes, middle of the front stretch. He still made contact
Clear, clear.
with the 19 car of Martin Truex Jr., but luckily did not blow a tire on that 4. About pulled a Ross Chastain in the All-Star race last year on Martin Truex Jr. Doesn't look like there's any severe damage on the right front fender of the 4. Byron's sliding onto pit road now. Again, just 4 cars on the lead lap. a scoring glitch with that Justin Haley caution at the beginning of stage 2, leaving just the top 4 on the lead lap. Ryan Blaney in 6th place right now. He either hasn't pit yet, or he's about to go a second lap down. I guess he'd be a second lap down anyway, whether he pits or not. And we have a caution. For the second time in stage 2, caution is out. I think there's a good chance that Kevin Harvick is the only car in the lead lap right now, because the yellow waved when we were in turns 1 and 2, right in the middle of the corner. And if second place, second, third, and fourth were not across the start-finish line at the time of us actually having that caution, that we're the only one in the lead lap, we will still pit. I don't think Harvick will be able to make it on field at the end of the stage here, but we will pit. Be on even tires for the most part. Everybody else who hadn't pit yet will pit. This could be interesting. Gotta win this and not worry about the Dega or the Roval. That is very true. A lot of cars on pit road. There were quite a few that still hadn't pit yet. I don't think we're gonna make it on field at the end of the stage. No, we got about 55 to go in the restart. Harvick is the leader still. It was the only lead lap car to pit because he was the only car in the lead lap. So the green flag's back in the air. So Kevin Harvick has a 1 lap lead on the field now with that caution coming out. Trapping a lot of cars a lap down. Now just going to have to survive the back of the pack on this restart. The other lead lap cars are going to be well in front of him because they stayed out of the pits here. So if we get a caution before Kevin Harvick can get to the line, all those guys that are ahead, they'll end up getting back in the lead lap. Or they finish in front of him to the end of the stage. It's going to be difficult with Harvick just pitting when he did, though.
Still there. Still there. All clear. Stay left. All clear.
Dive underneath Bowman.
Clear all around.
Left it off him. Clears him off turn 4 as well.
Got one right. Still there. Clear, clear, clear.
Got to get max points. That'd be amazing if we do. It's not impossible because Harvick already won stage 1. With that caution, it's going to be very hard for him not to win this next stage. Everybody will still have to pit 1 time in the stage, but he's got a 1 lap lead. Really can pit just about whenever he wants now. Get back into this. Obviously going to run this out for a little bit as he just pitted during the caution. We're just a few laps after the restart. He's making his way through these slower cars pretty quickly. Riley Ivy, thanks for tuning in. Hey, the NASCAR driver's Kevin Harvick. Well, you came to the right place tonight. Driving as Harvick for the rest of this NASCAR 22 season. Must have a lot of other Harvick fans in the chat knowing that you guys voted for me to race as Harvick for this season.
Clear, 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 clear.
Leading the points coming into this race today and trying to get a quick win to lock himself into the round of 8.
Got one right, got one right.
Scoring glitch has taken place for the second time today due to a caution for incident for the second time, and that is why Harvick has a 1 lap lead on the field. Technically, Chastain and those guys ahead of him position-wise are on the lead lap. Well, Joy just clipped the grass there. Big run for Kevin Harvick. Pounding the wall and pounding Gilliam. The car's all right.
2 outside.
Here's Chastain. Harvick on the outside of the 1. Off the exit of the corner, Harvick getting a nice run off the outside lane. Easily clears him down into turn 1 and gets to the inside of LaJoy. Chastain's a lap down in 4th. Leaving just 3 cars on the lead lap right now. Outsmart the glitches sometimes on this game. Yeah, with the scoring glitches for sure. That caution coming out when we were in the lead definitely helped us. I mean, honestly, the way Stage 1 went caution-free, I was expecting Stage 2 to honestly do the same thing with it being the same distance, but we've had a couple cautions already. Nothing of Harvick's fault. And once was in the middle of green flag stops, and the other one wasn't. Luckily, we were just across the start-finish line to stay on the lead lap with the first yellow for incident, and then this one, we were in the lead. Helped us even more. Larson in 2nd, last car in the lead lap. Chase Elliott in 5th, trying not to go 2 laps down. Stuck behind the 5 car right now. Big run from the 4 into turns 1 and 2. Elliott was already on the bottom. Larson was on the top. Elliott going to get by Kyle Larson. Harvick transfers to the bottom of the 5 car off the exit of the corner. Larson trying to go down to side draft the 4.
All clear.
Into turns 3 and 4 they go. Big dive bomb there by Kevin Harvick. He clears Larson. Can't keep up with Chase Elliott in any way with how low he dove it off into the corner. So Harvick's got a full lap on the field right now. Again, everybody going to have to pit in this stage yet. Harvick included.
Stay left.
Side drafts the 9 of Elliott.
Still next to you.
That's the best case scenario that could have happened for Kevin Harvick rather, if he's going to want a shot to win this race, move into the next round. Quick slide job at 3 and 4 to get by Elliott ASAP. It does. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. Just past halfway, this 500-mile race at Texas Motor Speedway tonight. We're just over an hour and a half into the stream as well. Probably looking like this race is going to be just over 3 hours today. A lot quicker than yesterday's race. Oh, Reddick pitting! Harvick into the back of him. Reddick spins down to the bottom of the racetrack. Was not expecting anybody to hit pit road there. I think Harvick got hit from behind by Chase Elliott too. Reddick just came to a stop right in front of him, and there was no chance Kevin Harvick knew that was coming.
Stay left. All clear.
How much is that going to hurt the race car? But we stay green. Reddick spun down into the grass. That didn't matter. You have to imagine with the nose damage, it's going to make this 4 car much tighter than what it already was. He hit him pretty hard. It doesn't look too bubbled up, honestly, from this camera angle. Keeps up with Elliott through 1 and 2 at least. Might have closed on him just a bit.
Car right. Clear all around.
I mean, there wasn't even a pit sequence for Reddick to pit there, so I don't understand why he pitted when he did. There's nobody else that came into the pits when he did, unless he had some sort of a random mechanical issue. I guess it isn't impossible. Man, oh man. That was a jump scare and a half. We're clean air in front of the 4 now, so I don't have to worry about it for a little bit. Yeah, I don't think the car's too damaged, surprisingly. Should have been. That was an instance where we could have easily have received way more damage. That was a pretty hard hit. I was still on the gas when I hit him. I don't even think I got out of the gas yet. Slammed right into him and turned him around. Poor Reddick, another playoff driver spinning on the front stretch today, but no caution that time, so he's probably going to lose a lot more time than Justin Haley did. Haley eliminated for the playoffs, so Reddick not. He came in below the cutoff line already, a little bit behind. And that certainly did not help him. .35 laps to go. This time by the start-finish line in stage 2. Considering Reddick was trying to pit there, I wonder if he's even still in the race. He definitely missed pit road. A rare instance where you didn't see a caution when that happened, with him sliding off the track as quickly as he did. Of course, the speed difference in the contact, no surprise he spun. I'm just shocked that we didn't have as much damage as you can definitely tell the 8 car's back bumper was cranking up as soon as we hit him. But somehow this 4 car staying pretty much intact. It is a miracle that that was the case. The longer Harvick runs this out to the end of the stage, the better for him. The reason being is so that way he probably doesn't have to pit and restart the tail end of the field at the beginning of stage number 2. Hitting during that last caution. Unable to get by Kyle Busch that time.
All clear.
It's underneath the 18 car. Grips up pretty well. Well, he did in turns 3 and 4. Then he got tight. Luckily, he was clear. I'm trying to block Busch on the front stretch. Heading off into turn 1 again. Run Harvick has underneath all these lap cars into turns 1 and 2.
2 on the outside, you're 3. 2 on the outside, you're 3.
Passed about 4 cars that corner and pulls up to the inside of Alex Bowman as well. Hey, Stephen King 92 Hammer, thanks for tuning in. .30 laps to go, stage 2 at the Texas Motor Speedway today. Echo Park Automotive 500.
Stay left. Clear, clear.
Go back to the far chase cam, at least to the end of stage 2 now.
Got one right. Clear, clear.
Imagine we're not too far away from seeing the field pit. Although, Harvick wasn't the only one that was on pit road during that last caution, so a lot of drivers probably got pit around the same time as he does. Again, nobody can make it to the end of the stage. 22 likes on the stream so far. Again, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. We had 42 likes on the stream yesterday with our NASCAR 6 content, so we'll try to beat that today. That's our goal. We're just about halfway there. Right on the dot. We're a little past halfway through this race, so definitely be sure to do that if you haven't done so already. Helps these streams out of time. We get closer to the start of the NASCAR season. We get closer to our actual live commentary live streams on the race weekends, and I'll be doing live commentary for the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum coming up here in a couple weeks. That'll be our first live commentary stream of the year. I'll be at Daytona for Speed Week, so I won't be doing live commentary that week, but race highlight videos from the grandstands every race I go to in person this year. And then after that, I'll be doing live commentary for all the truck, Xfinity, and Cup races leading up to the next race I go to, which I think the second race I go to is Coda, if I'm not mistaken. So got a little bit of a gap there between my first and second race of the year I'm going to this year. Versus last year, I went to Auto Club the weekend after Daytona. Not going to be doing that again, more than likely this year. Still waiting on the winner of the Fantasy League to pick what other race he wants to go to. He's picked one of them out already, but hasn't picked the other. He gets two because he won the playoff and the regular season championship. So if you are not already entered into the NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR mobile app or website, be sure to do so, because if you win the league championship in either the regular season or the playoffs, or both, you get 2 tickets to any NASCAR race of your choosing in the following season, which would be 2024. Or you get 4 of the same race, I guess, if you win either one. But he could still do that. I'm still waiting on a word back from him. He hasn't messaged me back on Instagram last I checked in about a month or two. So he said he's still contemplating what he wanted for that other race. Sounds like he lives out west. I think he does. I actually met him last year. Coincidentally, he won last year. That's why I went to Auto Club. So, yeah, I will try to get to that same race as well. But you get 2 tickets. Like, I say I went, but that wasn't one of the 2 tickets that he got to choose. He was able to bring somebody else with him if he chose. He didn't, but you do get that choice if you wanted to bring a friend or a family member along as well. I will buy them both. Boy, thanks for tuning in. 23 laps to go here in stage 2. About a quarter tank of gas left for Kevin Harvick at this point in the run. Again, he's going to be a couple laps shy. The road closes with 2 laps to go in the stage. Timing that last caution, might see quite a few guys pit just before. Harvick going to try to run this out as long as he feels comfortable doing so. He'd like to finish on the lead lap to, well, obviously he's going to finish on the lead lap because he's the only car in the lead lap right now. It's like Kyle Busch was in his pit box that time by. The only other cars that might have a shot to win this race that are 1 lap down would be Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, and Ross Chastain. They're in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in that same order. And they're fighting for a round of 8 playoff spot with a win. They meaning the 10 and the 1 at least. And obviously Harvick, who is leading. Mr. Bell on pit road right now. He's been in the top 10 all day. More stage points will be awarded here in 20 laps as well to the top 10. Might spin out into the outside wall. Yeah, I can't control that though, so I'm not worried about it. It doesn't, it might like show the actual damage, but it doesn't actually like register for whatever reason. Like the car doesn't feel like it's any slower or tighter with damage. I've had that happen to me in a few races already, obviously, on this game, but it doesn't actually do anything. It looks visually bad, but the physics-wise, it doesn't alter anything, thankfully. It would suck if it did, considering the fact that it literally isn't my fault. The AI spins you out.
We'll be pitting in about 5 laps.
It's weird it only does that during the stage breaks. Like, it doesn't freeze right away like it does with the actual cautions, because when a caution comes out in this game, it just immediately freezes the moment the caution comes out. That's not the case in the stages.
Got one right. Clear, clear, clear.
I mean, there is a possibility the stage could end under yellow if we get a caution very late in the stage, in the last 6 or 7 laps. Then, in that case, Harvick would pit during the stage break. Final stage is going to be a little bit longer. Maybe on the verge of a 3-stop final stage. I'd like to think they could probably still make it in 2, but it could be 3. Especially if you don't pit during the stage break, as most drivers probably won't. Pit just before, it may be a 3-stop stage. Christopher Bell on the outside, gonna get by Kevin Harvick here. Stuck behind Austin Dillon. Looking to get around him into turns 3 and 4. He'll dive down to the bottom of the racetrack and he'll be able to do just that. Yeah, whatever happened to your friend?
We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
Sounds like she's doing better or doing okay. Right. At the very least.
All clear.
How quickly Bell pulled away from Allmendinger and Harvick on his fresher tires. He was like right with us, and then he pulled away by like 1.5 seconds at one point. Probably about 3 seconds a lap quicker.
Clear, clear, clear.
Which makes sense, because we've already fallen off about 3 seconds of a lap. Our fastest lap is a 29.823, and that most recent lap was a 32.91. Yeah, I'm supposed to get like 4 to 7 inches of snow on Wednesday. I really hope that doesn't like impede with my flight. It shouldn't, because I'm supposed to fly to San Antonio Saturday morning for the Royal Rumble this weekend. Actually going to Houston, because that's where I'm staying. But there's some people that live in that area. Yeah, they're calling 5 to 7 here. I would imagine with that being 3 days before, I shouldn't have my flight delayed in any way. I can't have it delayed by that much, like a couple hours at the most. Because I'm going to have a 2.5-hour commute after I land. I'd like to get there a couple hours early. Like, I'm expected to, I'd probably have like 2.5 to 3 hours to kind of kill before I'd have to leave to San Antonio to get there a couple hours early before the Rumble, so I'm not too worried about it. By the way, Harvick is going to have to pit this time because he's running pretty low on fuel. So Harvick going to be on the way in. Four tires and fuel for the 4 team.
The leader's in the pit.
Kenneth Clark, thanks for tuning in. Doing great. Hopefully you are too. Very close to the end of the stage here. 24 likes, 30 people watching. Hit the like button. All of you have not done so yet. We'll try to see if Kevin Harvick will win stage number 2 just like he did in stage 1. Got about 12 laps to go in the stage. Briscoe pitting at the same time as his teammate Harvick there. Cindric is in. Harvick should still be the leader. Cycling out of the pits. Trying to get up to speed as quickly as he possibly can. Kyle Larson is coming in the 5 car to the outside, trying to get back on the lead lap for the end of the stage, and he will not be able to do so. In 3rd. So once Chase Elliott pits, who is in 2nd, and Harvick will have a full lap lead on the field again as we have 11 laps to go right now in this stage. Very good possibility Harvick is still going to remain 1 lap ahead of the field at the end of stage 2. Got to keep the 5 car behind him. Reddick, by the way, back. Just saw him on the leaderboard. I didn't see the number alongside him. Quite a few more cars pitting off turn 4 there. Reddick at 39th right now after that spin earlier. There's Elliott just coming out of the pits. Be, I believe, 2 laps down. Larson about 4 seconds behind Harvick. Kurt Busch pulling out of the pits. Just knocked the 17 of Chris Buescher into the wall. 9 to go this time by on the stage. Harvick's got a little bit fresher tires than Larson. Larson had pitted before the 4 car. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna... I'll try to watch the games on Sunday. My fantasy team has made it to the conference championship. So I'm making a deep playoff run, so I'd like to try to watch it. Probably have a couple parlays that day too. I'm already predicting the Niners and the Bengals in the Super Bowl. I think I've seen enough out of those 2 teams over the last couple weeks. I know the Eagles are probably going to be a little tougher. I think with Mahomes banged up and the fact that since he's had their number the last couple seasons on top of it, and that's when Mahomes is healthy, I just don't see... They'll have the home field advantage, obviously, but my faith's more in Cincy on that one. I think the NFC game is more of a toss-up, but I'd probably still lean towards the Niners, even though Philly's got the home field advantage.
They're all around.
I'll probably wear my Cactus Jack shirt. I wore that the other night when I was at SmackDown. I didn't put a community tab post on there where I was sitting. I was actually sitting row 3 ringside. That was pretty cool. One of the closest I've been. I mean, I usually sit within like the first 20 rows usually. But as late, I literally got the tickets the day or my ticket the day of. I went by myself, but I'm surprised I gotten it, honestly. That close. They have pretty decent seats for the Rumble too. Not quite that close, but pretty cool. It'd be weird though, just being in a bigger arena for a wrestling event. We used to, like hockey, basketball style arenas. That's like close to a football style stadium. The Alamo Dome. Didn't they have like 60,000 people there for like a basketball game a couple weeks ago or something? It's gonna be packed. 3 laps to go in stage 2. Ryan Blaney in 7th, just up ahead. Harvick down to the bottom. Get by him.
3 wide, got 2 up top.
Like to get by Bell in 6th to put him 2 laps down before the end of the stage. He'll get underneath the 20 car. 2 laps to go. This time by at the line as he blocks Bell at the start-finish line. A look underneath Cindric, who's in 21st. He was 31st at the end of stage 1, so he's gained some spots. Harvick going to get around him through turns 1 and 2, though, which is not good for Cindric because he's going to be an extra lap behind Allmendinger 20th and a lot of other cars who are 2 laps down as Cindric is now 3 down. Going to the outside, Harvick down to the bottom. Final lap, this time by stage number 2 for Kevin Harvick. And for the 2nd straight race, he is going to sweep the stages. He won the race at Bristol when he did that last Wednesday night. We'll see if he can do that here today at Texas and get back-to-back max points days. That win advanced him into this round, and this win trying to advance him into the next. 85th playoff point of the year, and it'll be the 20th stage win of the season for Kevin Harvick. And his penultimate season in his NASCAR career. Here we go. Rest of the stage results in stage 2 would have Kevin Harvick again winning stage 2, Kyle Larson in 2nd, Eric Almirola 3rd, Ross Chastain 4th. Those guys are all 1 lap down, 2nd through 4th, by the way. 2 laps down for Chase Elliott, and actually Elliott might only be 1 lap down in 5th because Christopher Bell just went a 2nd lap down. There's a chance Elliott's 2 down and Bell's 3 down, but I'd probably lean towards Elliott potentially being 1 lap down. Not entirely sure on that. But anyway, Elliott 5th, Bell 6th, Ryan Blaney in 7th, Martin Truex Jr. 8th, William Byron 9th, Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 10. The only non-playoff drivers to finish in the top 10 were Larson in 2nd, Blaney in 7th, and then Hamlin in 10th. They were either eliminated or just not in the playoffs. The playoff drivers who finished outside the top 10 in stage 2 would include Joey Logano in 12th. Kyle Busch fell back to 14th after finishing top 5 in stage number 1. Justin Haley 16th even after a spin, so he's recovered pretty quickly. Austin Cindric 21st. And Tyler Reddick after a spin fell way back despite finishing 8th in stage 1, 39th at the end of stage 2. The tail end of the field already came in below the cutoff line. He does not need that. We're not going to pit during the stage break. Final stage about to be underway here in Texas.
Watch the light.
We have 2 cautions for incident in stage 2. Not going to pit here. Going to maintain this track position at the front of the field. Under 24 laps in the final stage. Green flag is back in the air in Texas.
Clear, clear, clear. Car right. Clear all around.
Harvick's got 12 laps on his tires. And we could potentially see a light glitch in this final stage, so we have to be prepared for it. Although we can't really be prepared for it, it really happens at randomness. I just have to hope it's not in the middle of the corner, or really on the front stretch with the 2 kinks being a D-shaped oval. I really have to just hope I'm on the back straightaway and it blows by quickly. This race should be in the daytime too, but there's been a few races that have been like that. But there's also been some races that were supposed to have day to night transitions that we didn't, though, at the same time. We didn't have to worry about a lights glitch like Darlington. It just started in the night. You didn't have to worry about it. Typically it starts in daylight and then ends at night. For whatever reason, that wasn't accurate. NASCAR Cup Series 2311 Racing, thanks for tuning in. Got 25 likes on the stream. Again, our goal is 43 today. We had 42 in the stream yesterday, so try to break that with 43. That's kind of an odd number, but you get why. Let's see if we can do it. And Kevin Harvick won the first 2 stages today at Texas, trying to win the race, sweep the stages. That'd be 7 playoff points that will carry over to the next round of the playoffs with a win today, which would give him 91 on the, 89, I believe, on the season. No, I had 83. Yeah, 90. 90 points, not 91. It would give us 90. Which would be massive. So Harvick won the regular season championship this year as well. Clinched it before the final race of the year. But he's by far got the most wins. He's got 6 more wins than the next closest driver, Christopher Bell, who has 4. Harvick with 10 and looking for an 11 today. Now, not pitting during that stage break and having 12 laps of fuel already on the car. And tires, I don't know if I'm going to have to pit 2 or 3 times in this final stage. Good news is having a bunch of clean air right now is really going to help this 4 car a ton. Going to be abusing the tires as much either. That would be nice if the lights glitch doesn't happen, because it's not supposed to. But I'm still prepared for it in any way, shape, or form. Now, if it happens in the middle of the corner, I'm kind of SOL, which is not going to be good. If I end up cracking the wall, blowing a tire, that could be the difference maker, giving some of these guys another shot to win this race today. And that would also put us off our pit sequence. Might not be within the range to make it on 2 stops. I think we will be able to make it on 2. We have proved we can go about 49 laps on fuel, so as long as I make it to 98 laps to go before having to pit the next time, I should be able to make it on 2 stops on the stage, which would be the same for everybody. So we have to make it just 26 laps into the stage, which would total be only 38 laps into the fuel run, so should be a 2-stop final stage, just like the first 2 stages. We're not pitting during the stage breaks in either stage today. We did pit under an extra caution in stage 2, so I guess technically we pitted 3 times in that last stage. Yeah, they got the 30th anniversary of Raw going on tonight. Probably end up watching that as soon as the stream's done. Probably gonna end up missing the first half of it, but at least I can go back on YouTube and watch the highlights of it later. Must be a few big matches on the card tonight. Suarez up to 12th, one of his better runs of the season. 3 seconds behind Harvick, looking to get one of his laps back. Seems to be a little bit quicker than the 4 right now. I think that's difference in the tires likely taking place there. 99 probably has fresher tires than the 4. Could be a little bit before he catches him though. Tell you what, if they were to turn the lights on, you would think now would be the time. It's crazy how dark it is on the front stretch, but then we go to the back straightaway and it's like broad daylight still. How much shade coverage there is with the grandstands. All the way from the exit of turn 4 to really the middle of 1 and 2. Mile and a halves have been very unpredictable for Kevin Harvick so far this season. Generally speaking, he's got decent finishes on most of the races, but trying to get a win on a mile and a half today for the first time this season give him a lot more momentum going into the round of 8 where there's 2 mile and a halves, and the only round that has 2 mile and a halves on it. First race at Vegas and the second race of the round at Homestead. Homestead is another track we have not raced at yet on this game. Homestead and the Roval, the only 2 tracks that we still have to go to for the first time after tonight's race at Texas. Suarez was kind of slowly closing in on the 4 of Harvick, but that doesn't really seem to be the case anymore. Kind of evened out. He got stuck in a bubble. Not really gaining or losing time on the 4 ever since he got the 3 seconds behind him. Seven to 8 laps away from being within the window to be able to make it on fuel with just 2 more stops today. Thing is, if we do get any cautions for incident in stage 2, or sorry, in the final stage like we did in the middle of stage 2, I think Harvick's going to have to pit. Just so he's not on older tires at the front of the field, gets brake train or risk wrecking or getting ran over by anybody else. So if he is going to be without being in a window to make it a 1 stop or 2 stops, depending on when we potentially get any cautions, if we get any at all in the final stage, just going to have to bite the bullet, really. Hope we can make up enough time on fresher tires. I just don't want to take the risk of everybody else pitting and us staying out. So if we have to make an extra green flag stop, then that's definitely a way they would be able to get their lap back. Again, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and even potentially 5th, 1 lap down to start this final stage on Kevin Harvick due to the 2nd caution for incident we saw in the 3rd caution total today in the middle of stage 2 with the scoring glitch while Harvick was leading. Trapped on the lap down. The first scoring glitch we saw only kept the top 4 on the lead lap, which is why they're full lap ahead of everybody else. But I think Chase Elliott was able to make up a lap, though, in that last stage. Good pit sequence, fast pit stop in general for him to be able to do that. He could be 2 down, and everybody from 6th on back is 3 down. But at the very least, he's definitely at least a lap ahead of 6th. And a lap behind 4th. And into the wall there for Harvick. know, ideally, if the lights glitch happens when we're on pit road, that'd be even better for us. Rim Dial, thanks for tuning in. Harvick's gotten into the wall 4 times today. First time in the final stage. Tires are up on the race car, though. Hasn't blown any. We'll have 100 laps to go in the race at the start-finish line this time by. The sun glare right off turn 4 is pretty blinding too. Even in a video game.
Alright, be ready. Hit pit road in a few laps.
And the lip to keep it off the wall right off the exit of turn 2 that time also. It's definitely getting a little tighter both ends of the track. This many laps on the tires.
Alright, be ready.
98 laps to go now, so I mean he could pit at any lap and be able to make it on fuel easily on 2 stops. So he is definitely going to be considering hitting pit road very, very soon. He'll be staying out of the pits this time, and I think once he gets the lap traffic, that'd be a good time to pit. And especially because we've got some cars pitting off turn 4. Looks like Kyle Busch is on his way in. A lot of these guys got held up on the front stretch as a result. Harvick with a head of steam down on the bottom and heading towards turn 1. There's Chastain in the 1 car. Harvick dive bombs, trying to get around it.
Clear.
Put Chastain a second lap down. That'd be big. Got off turn 2 pretty well. Harvick will pit this time by. Now that he is in traffic. So Harvick on his way in.
Leader just hit pit road. Leader just hit pit road. Leader just hit pit road.
Yeah, we are the leader. We get it. We're on pit road. Second to last stop of the day for Kevin Harvick in the 4 team. What a drive. Over these last couple races between Bristol and today, led over 400 laps at Bristol and got the win. At both stages of the race, and today has dominated both stages trying to win the race. There goes Larson into the lead. Best thing that could happen is a caution comes out right now. Or at least at any point in time before Kevin Harvick can get past the start-finish line with the lead over Larson and all these other guys who still have to pit back behind him. Harvick will get ahead of the 5 that time. So Larson led for 1 lap in the final stage. Harvick right back to the lead again with about 97 laps to go. Actually more like 95 laps left. Harvick came out of the pits with 96 to go, so definitely going to be able to make it on just 1 more stop. After passes Stenhouse. A lot of clean air in front of the 4. One of the freshest tires in the field on this 4 car right now. We had a caution in the middle of green flag stops earlier. Chase Elliott's actually passed Ross Chastain. So he is definitely on the same lap. Chastain has lost a lot of time at the beginning of this final stage. Does not look nearly as quick as he did at the very beginning of the day back at stage 1. Now he's also getting held up by a lot of traffic in front of him. You know, Kyle Busch has already hit pit road. He's being held up by a lot of these guys on older tires as well. Chase Elliott's actually in the pits right now. Only Almirola and Larson are still on the lead lap until they pit. Harvick lifting a quick closing rate on BJ McLeod in the 78 car off turn 2. They want to run into him and risk bringing out that caution himself. .89 laps to go. Yikes, Cole Custer. Harvick had a run on him, didn't know exactly where to go. Went to the top and got squeezed into the wall by his teammate. I think Larson's already, he either already has pit or he has lost so much time. To Kevin Harvick, with Harvick on much fresher tires than the 5. I'd like to think he has already pit. Although it is tough to tell for sure. Larson was in second, so he would have had to have been passed by Almirola because Elliott had already pit. We almost have a stoppage off of turn 4! Oh my good God! We missed it. Wow. You want to talk about a quick closing rate? I saw a seam and I went for it. I think I peed a little. Code Brown. Code Brown! Yeah, Larson's back in a second, so he is definitely already pit. Trying to run Harvick back down to get that lap back. That wasn't even, I mean, it was a wreck in the making. It wasn't even a wreck that actually happened. They just slowed up because of a car pitting right in front of them. Oh, Chase, oh, Chase. Oh, my God. Please give me just, I mean, nobody's cutting me any brakes right now. My goodness. Oh, my God. What is going on? Just make it stop. My gosh. I can't take it anymore. That's like 3 laps in a row. Trying to Quinn Halfett from the middle of the racetrack. Hitting from the middle of the third lane at Texas. They don't care if there's cars underneath you. I'll tell you what, we've done a good job not wrecking this race car and risk giving up a massive lead. Kaz Grala coming out. Truex went down as the 50 was coming up. That could have been disastrous too. We still haven't even had the lights glitch yet. Could you imagine if the lights glitch happened like right when that was happening? That would have been the perfect timing for something to just go terribly wrong. Truex on pressure tires going to get by the 4 on the outside off the exit of turn 2. Should pull away from him. Larson's starting to reel the 4 car back in again. He's only a second behind him. $80 laps to go. Quinn Half returns to the Cup Series? I'd say probably not. Guy hasn't even been back in like Xfinity or a truck vehicle since leaving Starcom in the Cup Series. It's crazy. Couldn't even find a backmarker ride anywhere in the lower series. Although when you came from Cup though for a couple of years, that would be kind of tough to get demoted to a backmarker team in Xfinity and trucks. Quinn Houff could say he raced full-time in the Cup Series for 2 years in NASCAR. There's a lot of good race car drivers trying to work their way up in NASCAR that can't say that. I mean, that's insane, looking back on it. We didn't even think he was going to actually make it through 2 full years, honestly, and he did. He proved us wrong. He might have finished outside the top 30 in points twice, but he proved us wrong. He made it through the season. Sponsorship never got pulled on him. No matter how terrible he'd run or how big of a mistake he'd make. Bottom lane open for Kyle Larson here. Likely going to get by. No, he does not. He's stuck on the outside behind Harvick that time. The longer Harvick can hold him up, the better. And Harvick's got a 2-lap lead right now. On Kyle Larson. Larson with a run. Harvick get a block down to the bottom of the racetrack. Larson blows by Harvick on the outside through 3 and 4. Back to 1 lap down. Larson on the outside into 1 and 2. Harvick no chance to get back to him. Got Harvick on older tires, so Larson going to try to make up as much time as he can. Harvick held him up for about 2 laps. Logano on the 22 on the outside. Harvick has to lift to keep it off of him. Logano even fresher tires than Larson. Look at how quickly he's closing on the 5 car even. As long as we get to within 49 laps to go, Harvick can make it on field to the end from pitting whenever he does from that point on. We're at lap 50 in the final stage right now, lap 260 total in this race today. Larson having a hard time just trying to keep Joey Logano behind him. Michael McDowell, the 34, closing quick on the 4 of Harvick. Could not get around him that time. Larson only about 2 seconds ahead of Harvick right now. I think the 22 battling him a little bit. Could be slowing Larson's times down enough that he's not pulling too far away from the 4. McDowell cut off again by Harvick. Harvick more towards the middle lane that time through 3 and 4, and McDowell still couldn't get around him. Four cautions total in the race today. 2 stage breaks, 2 cautions for incident. Both cautions for incident, again, took place in the middle of stage 2. About 20 laps into the stage and a little over 50 laps into the stage. McDowell finally gets around Harvick on the outside after sitting behind him for a few laps. Everybody has to pit one more time in today's race yet. Kevin Harvick with a 1-lap lead on the field. Just got into the wall off turn 2. Very fortunate not to blow a tire there. Now the 5th time he's gotten into the wall today. First time during this current tire stint, and the 2nd time in the final stage. I think this is the first time I've gotten into the wall off turn 2 all day today also. Got back in the gas a little too soon. Big wad of cars. A pack of a dozen or more coming up very shortly. Specifically for Larson. Busch gets around the outside on Harvick, first chance he got. Austin Dillon about 3 seconds or so behind Harvick yet, trying to close in on it. My gosh. I was talking yesterday about having to pay attention in a long race. This is a 500-mile race, too. I mean, this isn't going to go nearly 5 hours like yesterday, but it's going to go pretty darn close to 3.5 hours, give or take. Pace we have ran so far. A little over the 2.5 hour mark so far. Really not looking forward to getting into that heavy traffic with how tight the car is right now. It's only going to get tighter and tighter if we get into dirtier air. About a third of the fuel tank full of gas still. At this point in the run. Yeah, back-to-back 500-mile races in both games, too. Both games for our Cup Series seasons. Seems like everybody's having an easier time trying to pass Harvick on the outside through 3 and 4. Austin Dillon doing the same right there. Harvick not racing these guys, just needs to keep it clean. I hope it stays green to the end. Larson going to be held up in traffic right now. That's definitely going to help Harvick out. Unless the 5 can get through those cars pretty quickly, and then Harvick, I don't think, is going to be able to get through them as quick. Knowing where the handling of his car is this far into the run. He's going to have to tough it out. He's going to have to go to 49 laps to go, regardless, if he's going to want to make it on fuel on one more stop. I couldn't tell who that was that just hit pit road. Looked like it might have been Chase Elliott, but I'm not entirely sure. He was on the lead lap. Whoever it was that pitted, I don't think they're going to make it on fuel at the end of the race. Still have 62 laps left. Well, Byron in 7th. He has slowly worked his way back in the top 10. He started there, but then fell back. Don't really think he got any stage points today. At least no stage points in stage 2. But again, in that 7th place position now, so things looking a little bit better than they were. Harvick definitely closing back in on Larson. Logano still has not gotten around the 5. He'll get just to the inside of him off turn 2 this time, though. Roman coming out of the pits back there. He'll be on much fresher tires here in a couple laps. Harvick lifts off turn 4 to keep it off the wall. It's going to give William Byron a massive run on the front stretch to the 4 of Kevin Harvick. Harvick has been able to hold his own in turns 1 and 2, though. Should be able to do the same here. Don't think Byron's going to have a shot to pass him this corner. But maybe he'll have a shot in turns 3 and 4 if he gets a big enough of a run on the back straightaway. He's battling Blaney for position. And again, Blaney not in the playoffs anymore. Eliminated after the round of 16 in last Wednesday night's race at Bristol. Byron almost into the back of Harvick off turn 4. Harvick pulled up the block, and 24 had a bigger run than I think the 4 initially had anticipated, but still slid up in time. No contact between the two cars. Harvick pulls Byron slightly in turns 1 and 2 again. Seth Thomas, welcome into the stream. Down to 58 laps to go at the line this time by. So about 9 laps away from that window opening up and about a quarter tank of gas left at this point in the run for Harvick. You might as well try to stretch this run out as far as you possibly can. Especially that he's closing back in on Larson. He's just got to make sure he doesn't make any major mistakes here. Tries to get to the bottom as soon as he can to get as much clean air as possible to help the car rotate in the corner as well. It's going to be tough, though, with other guys running all over the place in front of him. Michael McDowell's kind of in that same line that time. Harvick does stay in front of Byron. Off turn 4 again, Blaney Bowman right behind the 4 as well. Harvick with that massive run down into turn 1. Trying to get by the 5 of Larson. He's underneath Logano right now. Has to lift to keep it off the 22 on the outside, but he has cleared Larson to put Larson 2 laps down again. Harvick in the wall. Right off the exit of turn 4 into the wall there. That did not help him. He's going to be on the outside with Byron underneath him into 1 and 2. Harvick at least stays in front of Larson. There's a 7th hit into the wall today now. Fifth time in turns 3 and 4. Are hooked up well that time on the bottom. Nobody directly in front of him on the inside. Big run on the 24. Byron's got Hesmans in the outside lane right in front of him. Harvick just can't quite stay underneath the 24 long enough to get to the back straightaway that time. Into turns 3 and 4, he might. Harvick not as fast this end of the track. Can't keep with him again. Might have a shot this time, though, into turns 1 and 2. Little slide job by Harvick. Clears Byron and Hesmans. And Bowman with a head of steam down on the bottom. It's not even fresher tires than the 24 is. He's got to run on the 4. 53 to go. Kyle Busch back in 22nd place. Fall from grace after qualifying on the pole today, getting stage points at stage 1. It has not worked out for him. He didn't get any stage points at stage 2, and here in the final stage, he's outside the top 20 as we run. And I wonder if the scoring glitches might have held him back a couple of laps throughout this race, perhaps. It's a tough break. Harvick looking underneath the bush, and he's going to stay there on the back straightaway. We're going to have a chance to lap him again into turns 3 and 4. Had a chance if he would have slid up quicker. Didn't trust that the car was going to grip up, though. Busch stays in front of him. Bowman, poor guy, still stuck behind the 4. Harvick almost into the back of the 18 there. Tail of the car a little too deep down into the center of the corner. Bowman lifts to let the 4 back in line after Bowman was about to get put into the wall there by the 4. How quickly the 4 car darted up the racetrack. Bowman on the outside will blow by Kevin Harvick through turns 1 and 2. Harvick couldn't get the turn in. Here comes Byron in the 24 with a run. Followed by Blaney and Larson. Harvick blocking. Wish the car handled as well as it does in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 also. It's not the case. Not this track, not today. Even with the wedge adjustment earlier. Another run by the 24, blocked off by the 4. Now, these two battled for the regular season championship for most of the end of the regular season. Fuel window is open for Harvick to make it to the end of the stage right now as we have 48 laps to go. Been able to go 49 laps in a full run. Big run through 1 and 2. Kyle Busch must have lifted off the exit of turn 2 or something. Harvick's going to get around him into 3 and 4. Harvick will stay out one more lap. And he will pit the following time by, which will give him 46 laps to go when he leaves pit road this next time. So this will be the final stop of the day for Kevin Harvick. Quickly to the bottom of the racetrack, and he will be on pit road. Down to the commitment line, 45 miles an hour. Again, is the pit road speed, the 7th and final stop of the day for Harvick. Kept the car clean all race long. Needs to hope it stays green until everybody else at least pits and cycles through, and this race will be his to lose at this point. He'll be leaving the pits. Kyle Busch back to 29th. I think he might have just pitted. Harvick still in the lead. I'd like to think Larson is at least back on the lead lap for right now. Larson hoping for a caution to get back into this race. It has to be before Harvick hits the start-finish line, though. There's a car on pit road right now. I don't think it was Larson. Like maybe Buescher. It was a blue car, but I don't think it was... No, Larson's got a red car today anyway. He's got the Valvoline car. It definitely wasn't Larson. By the way, his Valvoline paint scheme, I think that's the best Kyle Larson scheme since going to Hendrick. My personal opinion. Almirola in third on the lead lap right now as well. He is about to go a lap down before long. Most likely by the end of this next lap, he's going to go a lap down. That's going to leave just Larson and Harvick on the lead lap. So Almirola's shot of winning this race and advancing into the next round are pretty much done. With Harvick putting him a lap down again. We'll go a second lap down once the 10 pits. Waiting on Kyle Larson to pit at this point. He is not on pit road yet. Waiting it out in case we get a caution that gets him back into this race. And if it's when Harvick's at the far end of the track, closer to 3 and 4, that'll be better for Larson. Still haven't had a lights glitch. And we shouldn't get one in this race anyway, but... better to this point that we have it. And one car pitting almost got slammed into off turn 4. That car missed pit road. Like, they completely missed the pits. I don't know who it was. Caused Kyle Larson, or Kyle Busch rather, and Bubba Wallace to both slow up. Chastain back to 8th. Really free falling. He was second at the end of stage 1. Harvick was praying nobody in that 5 to 6 car group up ahead was going to pit there, and I don't think... well, they didn't. So otherwise it would have came to a nearly complete stop. Harvick should get back around all of them easily off the exit of turn 2. Won't have to worry about him in the next corner. Larson pitted. That's good for us. I mean, that means that's pretty much going to lock us into a win. As long as we don't get involved into anything bad here. Yeah, Larson did pit because he's in 5th. So he only went a couple laps further than Harvick this time. Harvick really stretched that last run out a little bit longer. And it worked out for him. You have to go 46 laps on fuel this run. He's gone as far as 50 today. Should be no problem. He has to stay out of trouble to the end of the race as we have about 38 laps to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Almost 300 laps complete this afternoon. Should say tonight. Eastern Standard Time is almost 9 o'clock. Truex up to 3rd temporarily. Could lock him into a better finish if we get a caution. Chase Elliott in 2nd. He's in danger of going a 2nd lap down. He still has to pit before the end of the race, I do believe. Same goes for Truex. Harvick lifting in the middle of the front stretch there with Elliott trying to throw a block in that first kink. Harvick still able to get around him. Well, that means we're simply going for playoff points at Talladega in the Roval, assuming Kevin Harvick holds on to win today at Texas, which he should be able to do easily. Oh, man! Ricky Stenhouse Jr. just tried to pit right in front of Harvick. Harvick bashes into him. Heavy damage on the 4, and he's got a right front tire down. Unscheduled stop coming up for the 4. Hard hit, too. Talk about late drama. Can't even get the car to turn right now. Harvick on his way in. An unscheduled pit stop after just pitting moments ago. He is now going to have to make an extra stop in the final stage and has heavy damage to the front of his race car after Ricky Stenhouse Jr. pitted right in front of him in the middle of the racetrack. We dodged the bullets earlier in the stage. We did not dodge the Ricky Stenhouse bullet there with just over 30 laps to go in this race. Topping off on fuel while we're down here. Might as well, in case we go to overtime, already having to change tires. And now you just got to hope if you're Kevin Harvick, you can get back into the lead and the car's not going to be too slow with too much damage. Had about a 2-lap lead before he pitted the first time on Larson. Fairly equal tires with him right now. He's still going to have to get up to speed. Not sure where Larson's at on the racetrack. Larson's in 33rd. Something happened to Kyle Larson. He is out of it. So Larson isn't even in the top 30 anymore. He might have DNF'd all of a sudden. There's no caution through any of that either. Harvick's still in the lead. I guess Eric Almirola would be the next closest guy trying to race him for the win then. Now we just gotta hope that doesn't happen again. We dodged a bullet there. Harvick's still in the lead, but his car can't be nearly as fast as it was. Corey LaJoie in 26, he's trying to pass right now. He should be able to get around him. Clears him off turn 2. Heavy damage to the 4 car. He's definitely already a little tight 3 and 4 this early into the run. Doesn't have to go a full run to the end of the race at least. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the final time in today's race. That was just a real shame. Harvick can still win it. He's going to be on the same lap as at least the 10 of Almirola now to the end. Harvick's got Cody wearing the 51 on his outside right now. Harvick down on the bottom lane. Going to be able to clear him off of turn 2. Good thing Kyle Larson had his issues because I think he would have taken the race lead away from Kevin Harvick if Larson didn't have any issues pitting just a couple laps after Kevin Harvick did. When Harvick pit the second time this stage, so that would have been the 8th stop of the race for Kevin Harvick, having to make the unscheduled one after blowing the right front tire after contact with Stenhouse off of turn 4. That's the worst thing that could have happened, because now if we get a caution, everybody's back into this race again. Harvick kind of caught in traffic right now. McDowell turning down right on top of him. They just have an accordion line of cars also in the way of Kevin Harvick. Have to imagine the 10 car is going to be a little quicker than the 4 right now. With the damage to the 4. And by the way, we have not had the lights glitch today, so if we do have that before the end of this race, that could be chaotic as well. Christopher Bell in 4th. He's the last car in the lead lap. Harvick trying to get by the 20. Gets to his inside in the middle of 3 and 4. I think Bell still might have to pit. Harvick going to clear him off turn 4. Leaving now just 3 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Busch back up to 12th. Was back at 29th at one point. It's a good thing that caution didn't come out. The Stenhouse and Harvick contact, at least for himself. Could have lost some valuable points in this final stage. Already starting pretty deep in the playoff field for this round specifically. Ross Chastain in 3rd. And again, Eric Almirola in 2nd. Those are the only other cars on the lead lap to Kevin Harvick. So we have about 25 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. We've had an overtime finish over a handful of races this season and a couple already in the playoffs at both Bristol and Richmond. So what will this do today? Will we see another overtime finish for the Kansas? And no, Kansas ended under green. Darlington did not. What race? We had a race recently where we had a green-white checker other than Bristol, I thought. I must be mistaken because every race I'm thinking of did. Maybe it was Michigan. I think it was Michigan. That was in the regular season, though. Bristol definitely had an overtime restart. Actually had a couple cautions with less than 20 to go as well. We did have an overtime finish at Bristol. If we get one today at Texas, though, these guys going to be racing for a lot. Top 3 that are all in the lead lap, a win will all advance them into the next round. Caution comes out after Harvick crosses the start-finish line. Like right in this area, there's a good chance Almirola Chastain going to get trapped a lap down due to a 3rd scoring glitch today, too. I would totally pit if we did get a late caution to force overtime, but the problem with that is if we do pit, we're going to have to be at the tail end of the field. Tail end of the field, not the tail end of the lead lap, which would only be 3 cars. We'd restart third. We'd be in third on the restart, but we'd be at the tail end of the pack, which would not be good for us. Because there's no way we could pass that many cars, even on much pressure tires, in 2 laps, even without the damage. With the damage, that's even harder. Go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race. $20 laps to go in Texas. Chastain only about 4 seconds ahead of Harvick. He's the next car up ahead of him. That car should have to come out right before Harvick crosses the start-finish line for Chastain to still be on the lead lap. Almirola would still have a much better shot, though. Harvick in the wall off turn 4. He's okay, though. Didn't blow a tire. Can't be doing that. Already blew 1 tire in this stage. Yeah, I know they mentioned The Undertaker and Hogan and a few of those other guys were going to be on tonight. Not like the wrestling or anything. Just some cameos, maybe some promos. Well, 16 laps to go this time by. Harvick just wants to see that white flag. William Byron, by the way, up to 4th. He's the first car 1 lap down right now. Chastain about 2.5 seconds ahead of Harvick, in danger of going a lap down late. At least he's rallied again. He was back in 8th at one point in the stage. Almirola out of the race? Are you sure? Larson had an issue. He's 35th right now. I don't know where Almirola's at. I would have expected he should be in 2nd. Daniel Suarez up inside the top 10 tonight. Oh, yeah, you're right. Almirola's 34th. Who's in 2nd? Chase Elliott? Christopher Bell we already passed in this one. I don't know who's in 2nd then if it's not Almirola. So something happened to Almirola and Larson under their last stop, which is tough for Almirola considering he's still in the playoffs. Could have had a 2nd place finish today. Instead, he's going to end up, despite scoring a lot of stage points, finishing outside the top 30. Oh, it was Biker Taker? He come out the Limp Bizkit? Yeah, heavy hitters as far as the speed goes for some of these guys in this race. They've been knocked out of it. Another car on pit road right now. Whoever it wasn't the 2nd place car. So both Almirola and Larson could be on the lead lap and maybe even ahead of Harvick if they didn't have issues when Harvick did. But at the very least, they'd be on the lead lap if we got a yellow. But the problem is they're not, so they're out of it. Chastain has a slim chance, but he'd need a caution right after he crosses the start-finish line before Harvick does. Harvick's just over a second behind him and slowly closing. Bowman in the 48 just coming out of the pits down towards the bottom of the racetrack. 12 laps to go at Texas right now for Kevin Harvick. Oh, he did? That's pretty cool. I don't think anybody would have expected that. I sure as heck didn't. I mean, I guess they did have the Raw is War kind of attitude era logo tonight, though. Should have known. 10 to go at the line. Bowman blows by Harvick on the inside. Big line of cars coming up, though. A lot of them much slower. Just gotta hope if we do get a caution, it's not in this mess that Harvick would have to miss it. That'd be terrible. At least he won the first two stages today and had a pretty big points cushion coming in, so he's done a good job regardless of what happens here to the end. Even if he doesn't win. Especially if he lost it on a restart, still finished second or third. Into the back of Bowman, getting into turn one. Gotta be careful not to bring out a caution here. Saw how Harvick hopped immediately out of the throttle when he felt the car pushing up the track underneath the one of Chastain. Chastain still holds on to the lead lap. Harvick with a big closing rate, though, into turns 1 and 2, down to the bottom of the racetrack. Not quite going to get alongside the one here. He got close, lifted just a hair as he falls in line right behind him. We'll have 7 laps to go at the line this time by. And clears him off turn 4. Chastain's a lap down. So now just 2 cars on the lead lap if we were to get a caution late in this race. Bowman quickly accelerates further ahead of Harvick as he passes Hesmans. The Team Hesselberg 27 car. Still underneath. Six laps left. Still unaware who the second place car is, but whoever it is, they're hoping for a caution to force overtime. And Harvick hoping it stays green so he can lock up the win and advance to the next round. Dominated performance today by Harvick, winning both stages and the race despite qualifying 34th. Not expecting this kind of speed in the race after qualifying today. But it has seemingly worked out for the 4 team. And there's Stenhouse, the guy who he ran into, causing himself to blow a tire in this final stage. Giving up what was a 2-lap lead. And back on the lead lap. Got into him there, about turned him. We just need to pass Stenhouse. Get him into our metaphorical rearview mirror. Non-existent rearview mirror. Got a big run on the front stretch. 3 to go. I don't know if Harvick's going to catch anybody else to try to pass outside of Ty Dillon and 21st right in front of him.
Got one right. Got one right. Clear, clear, clear. Clear, clear, clear.
2 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. A lot of cars up the way. Harvick just hoping he can get to the white flag the following time by without an incident. Sails it really deep into 1 and 2 on the inside of Ty Dillon. He will clear Dillon with a clean pass off of turn 2.
All clear.
Harvick barely kept it off the wall off turn 4. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go. We didn't actually get the white flag, that was kind of weird, but this is the final lap, we do know that. Caution comes out now, the race is over. So Kevin Harvick going to sweep the stages and get the win today at the Texas Motor Speedway. He's 1 more corner away from victory. A scare late with just over 30 to go, blowing that right front tire. Nothing says Texas Motor Speedway in 2022 quite like tire blowouts, but we had one. It's alright, we made it through. That's why we have the damage, but the checkered flag will be in the air, and Kevin Harvick is a winner at Texas. He will advance to the round of 8 of the playoffs and not have to worry about Talladega and the Roval the next 2 nights. And somehow, despite blowing a tire late in the stage, we still finished 1 lap ahead of Chase Elliott. It should be 1 by the time he crosses the start-finish line. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Chastain somehow beat him, too. I guess they were both 1 lap down, I guess, at the end of the last stage, so that makes sense. Should have known Elliott was probably the guy in second with Almirola and Larson. And now Larson and Almirola definitely would have been on the lead lap with Elliott being 1 down, but they DNF'd going into that last stop with 42 laps to go. So something happened in the 10 and the 5. Eric Jones, Tyler Reddick, Timmy Hill, Garrett Smithley, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola all DNF'd. Of course, Reddick DNF'd because of that spin in the grass when we hit him back in stage 2. He was trying to pit from the middle lane. We ran into him. He missed pit road as a result. So we had 2 playoff drivers DNF today. Other notable playoff drivers who finished outside the top 10 would include Bubba Wallace in 31st. And then the next above him is Kyle Busch in 16th, Austin Cindric in 15th, Joey Logano 11th. And then your top 10 today, again, Kevin Harvick with the 1-lap victory over Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott in 2nd. He is in the playoffs. Ross Chastain in the playoffs finishes 3rd. Playoff driver William Byron finishes 4th. Non-playoff driver Ryan Blaney ends up rounding out the top 5 and 5th. Truex playoff driver finishes 6th. Denny Hamlin, non-playoff driver, 7th. Suarez not in the playoffs. He finished in 8th. Christopher Bell in the playoffs. He finishes 9th today. And Chase Briscoe rounds out the top 10. Another non-playoff driver in the top 10. So we had 6 playoff drivers get top 10 finishes today. And of course, that's not including Blaney, who is eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, but is just no longer in it right now. So big time win today for Kevin Harvick. And that is going to wrap up the stream. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I will see you guys tomorrow night, Talladega, for the Yellowwood 500, right here, NASCAR 22 on the channel, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good rest of your Monday night.